In my last video and recent poll, I asked the majority of you if I should make a Dummies Guide to Breach, and surprisingly, a lot of you said yes, please make a Dummies Guide to Breach, and you guys gave your reasons. I want to teach my friends how to play Breach, or maybe people stop leaving the game if they know what they're doing. Hopefully in this video I'm able to kind of teach you guys enough, but I really doubt it's going to stop people from rage quitting. I mean, it's For Honor, let's be real. Now, don't worry, this is still going to be one of my regular videos, so I'm going to try to throw in some funnies. To break it down, this video is going to go through every single stage of Breach, going from attacking to defending, telling you what you should be doing at what times. But before we even start, the biggest thing you have to keep in mind is that your mental is the most important mechanic in Breach. The game is never over, and there are many different things you can get to gain an advantage, aka buffs on the map, Guardian. There is never an excuse to rage quit because you have never lost the game yet. We're going to start off with attacking. Now, the moment the game starts, you're going to want to instantly run to the first archer point, and you want to avoid pushing the ram until you've captured 1 or 2 archer points. See, if you push the ram before actually taking the archer points, you're actually making the game way harder. The only archer point that can affect your ram at the start of the game is the first one, and if you push the ram, you have now opened up the second archer point to start shooting at your ram as well. The more you push the ram before capturing any archer points, the more you are hurting your team. I see this a lot. People are like, just push the ram, just push the ram. No, you're hurting your team. Archer point 1 is the second most crucial point on the Breach map. You take that, then your pikeman can move out of spawn without being shot to death, and you can also push defenders' control way far back. After you take this first point and you're low, rotate to the capture healing point, get what you want, maybe roam around the map, grab some buffs, and I would also recommend cleaning up the ram of pikemen just for the free renown. While you're doing all of that, you really want to keep track of the time and the clock, nearly when you're getting around the 27 minutes and 30 seconds mark. You really don't want to risk yourself dying around this time because that's when shield banner is going to spawn. Respawn times are about as long as I last in bed, so not very long, but enough to be annoying. The reasons I say this is because banner will spawn the moment the clock hits 27 minutes. Shield banner should be your #1 priority to only not deny defense a better gate, but to bolster your ram's health. Your ram's health is crucial in Breach. After you take the banner, there is only 2 things you should be doing, and it's taking archer points and rotating to kill pikemen to make sure your ram is never stopped. Once all archer points are taken, feel free to push the ram to the gate and have your team at the cauldron point. Once your ram has gotten straight to the gate, you have 2 jobs. Either stick with your team at the cauldron point or push the ram to make sure it's breaking the gate faster. There should never be more than a single person at the ram because adding more people to the ram does absolutely nothing. Do this until you've broken the first gate. Now we can finally hop over to the defender side, and it's really simple as fuck. I think even a monkey with brain damage could do it. Hold archer points with your life. As I said, the first archer point is like your child on defense. If you win the first team fight, then go ahead, get some healing, get some buffs, and then at 27 minutes, you want to be taking the shield banner away from your attacking friends. If you have to abandon the first archer point for the shield buff, it's kind of a good trade. Making the ram take extra hits from cauldron is just massive. When the ram does get to the cauldron, you want maybe 1 to 2 people clearing pikemen, and then 2 people near cauldron if it's being contested, and if it's not, just leave 1 person to mindlessly spam it. When there's no pikemen near the ram, it will not be able to activate and hit the gate. The cauldron will chunk the ram for about 1/10 of its health every time you pull that, so realistically you want the ram to be less than 25% of its health down before it breaks the first wall. Something to keep in mind, it is never ever realistic to break the ram on the first gate, so don't be discouraged if they break 1 gate with their ram being healthy. Quick trivia, when can you pull the cauldron for it to do the most damage to the ram? The answer is 8. Yes, if you're pulling the cauldron, the ram is 8 meters away from you while you're pulling it, you can safely get all the damage you can from it. Alright, time for stage 2, and we're back to the attacking mindset. Same rule applies again, but even more this time. Archer point 4 is the most important thing in the game. As I said, Archer point 1 is the second most. Archer point 4 is the most important. It looks directly into the attacking spawns and gives archers a chance to shoot at your pikemen the moment they spawn, but gives defenders the most map control ever. See, as an attacker, map control is your best friend. Defenders spawn so far away from every single objective. Archer points, buffs, guardian. Your best bet is to take the first or 2 archer points as fast as possible. See, buffs are a lot more scattered on the second round, so you should really only go for them if you've taken archer point 4 and 5 to really alleviate the map control these defenders really have. Let's do some round 2 of trivia. When does the second shield banner spawn? That's right, the answer is 4 minutes after the first shield banner is placed. I know it's kind of hard, I don't even do this myself, but once you place the first shield banner into the ram, try to keep an eye on time. If you place the ram at 26 minutes, then the next shield banner is going to spawn at 22 minutes, and then you're good. Now, the second most important thing is actually going to come up way before Shield Banner, but normally is neglected for some time but after it spawns. The second you breach the first gate, a 2 minutes and 30-second timer will start, and once it ends, the Guardian will spawn in his area. Now, Guardian is very important, but you should never rush to it the moment it spawns. You see, Guardian is a very, very loud character, and anyone near the building he spawns in will hear him fighting, and normally he spawns beside something very crucial. This gives the enemy team just a chance to walk in once hearing it, and normally this will turn into a massive coin flip. I saw it! See, Guardian can be stolen with just a single heavy by the enemy team after you've spent 20 seconds beating him to death. You want to take Guardian when you have a blatant life advantage. Normally the thing you want to avoid most in Breach is getting team wiped, but if you can manage to wipe the enemy team, then it's your chance to basically get everything on the map, including Guardian. See, spawns can take up to 20 seconds plus the time it takes for defenders to, mosey on to Guardian, so it leaves you and your team just way more than enough time to take it without even getting into a fight.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
This buff is crucial, but not game-ending. As I said, Guardian buff is a little overtuned, but not impossible to beat and not infinite. But with the buff, you need to push this blatant advantage. You have for basically 2 minutes. You have to take everything. Take the archer points if you haven't already, put one person on the ram to push it and kill any pikemen that walk up. It is very crucial that you have gotten the cauldron before your ram gets there, because your ram's health on the second gate is extremely important. You see, the amount of health your ram has directly correlates to how many lives you are given to kill commander. The more health your ram has, the better it includes, including shield banner. So your role is the same as the first gate. Do your best to make sure the cauldron is never pulled. Now it's finally time to jump onto the defender side, and your jobs are the same here. As I mentioned on attack, the archer point 4 is extremely important and probably the most important point on the map. Holding this for as long as possible will make winning way easier. Losing archer points means losing any map control you ever had, and attackers will normally spawn closer to anything crucial on the map. So you need to do your best to stay alive and active on the map as long as possible. If you as a defender still own archer point 4, that means the defenders have no reason to actually be pushed up after that. Shield banner normally spawns at archer point 5, so if they're stuck trying to take 4, then unless they predicted the spawn, nobody should be closer to the shield banner than defenders. Now, Guardian buff really is not as important to you as a defender, because in all honesty, the buff favors attackers. While it helps them take archer points faster and clear ram better, all you get is just killing pikemen with one hit, which can leave you in very open areas. But denying attackers buffs is basically the only reason you want to get Guardian. If they're going for it, you want to take it from them as fast as possible. And I gotta say here again, destroying the ram is just a slim chance. I'd say 95% of games will go to the second gate if both teams are full of players. So again, just don't be discouraged if the attackers make it all the way to commander. Before the ram hits the last wall for the last bar of health, you already want to be rotating towards commander. The biggest mistake I see a lot of defenders do is not rotate to commander. When people are at the ram, they have the fastest path to commander, literally a fucking straight line. They will always get there faster than you if you're not rotating, and your commander's health is crucial. If you and your team don't have any single healing feats like champions or stalwart banner, any damage the attackers do is just permanent. And now we can move on to the last stage of both sides. Starting with attackers, you have two roles, both have a prerequisite. If the defending team is dead and respawning, you want to go with your team to rush commander as fast as possible. If you have plenty of lives, you can always kind of throw some away to trade for commander's health. There's no real deal. If the defending team is alive, then you want, to bum rush the last archer point. Your pikemen can't really push past theirs if they're reenacting the fucking 300. The last objective is, well, kill commander, and there's many ways you can do it. Feats, ganking, jumping him, the ballista, revenge. When you attack commander, defenders make the most to try to spam you. But if you play defensive, then you can build up your revenge meter as fast as possible. With revenge, then you can cosplay the nearest JoJo protagonist and beat the fuck out of their commander. Have at least one person defending the archer point and always two people with commander at all times. You want someone to have any sort of healing feat on your team as well. Imagine your commander is a child in the park, and that park is also filled with people like Dr. Disrespect, EDP, and Chris Tyson. If you leave your child unsupervised, you basically have lost them. The moment you leave your commander's side is the moment you will start losing. So if you're going to leave him to go heal, make sure someone else is watching him. If you follow these steps, you'll still lose games. Obviously, sometimes your team you're fighting is just better than yours, and that's just video games. If you go into every game thinking losing isn't possible, then I'm sorry to tell you, but your mom raised you poorly. There's two outcomes to any game, and it's winning and losing. You're gonna lose, and it's just because you're losing at any point in the game doesn't mean you lost, period. Remember, rage quitting is never a valid excuse, no matter how you put it. If you made it this far in the video, I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day.